baby. Maybe you should go and do some contemplating.
Right reasons, right reasons. Can't be a girl for all the right reasons. Right reasons, right reasons. Can't be a girl for all 4 seasons.
I'm the Bachelorette, and I'm rapping to you poolside. Here to find true love.
Hi, this is Rachel McElroy.
Hi, this is Griffin McElroy.
And this is Roze Buddiez.
This is a podcast about shh. Come here. It's about kissing. What if it was just a kissing podcast and we talk about all the new techniques? I've been working on a new thing, and it's called the Philadelphia Twister.
There's cream cheese.
You put a bunch of cream cheese and lox in your mouth, and then you just get in there and you explore with the tongue, and you move the cream and fish between the two mouths, back and forth. I don't know what that voice was. It was a few different ones of speaking in tongues. We just watched Love Connection.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not doing Bachelor in Paradise.
For many reasons.
For so many reasons. And we are moving away, as we announced last week, from the Bachelor franchise as a whole, which we're still figuring out. News to come. And so we decided, hey, let's watch that new Andy Cohen joint. They brought back that Chuck Woolery flavor we've all been crying out for, which is the reboot of Love Connection. And I gotta say, babe, because we just watched an episode, that if our goal was to avoid talking about a show that had started to make us feel very bad, that this was, I might suggest, kind of a lateral movement, kind of maybe a step from one hot frying pan into another still pretty bad frying pan.
Yeah, hey, singles, we get it. It's tough out there.
But it's not this tough. Nothing on earth is this tough. This was surprisingly one of the meanest television shows I've ever seen.
Yes.
And I say I was surprised because it has love in the name of it. They should rename the show Hate Blasters, because that's what it felt like they were doing. They were in this very big, overwrought, Rachel thought it was the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire place, like red laser tag arena. And they were just blasting each other with the most despicable shit. And it didn't seem very romantic to me, but maybe I'm old fashioned, or maybe they're old fashioned and things used to be really shitty.
Can I give you a little history of the show?
Please do, because we also tried to watch some old ones, and like apparently every video thing that was recorded before like 2005.
I'm talking to you from the inside of a VHS that was dubbed into another VHS.
You always slip into Andre the Giant.
I know, I do a little bit.
So the show ran from 83 to 94.
Pretty good run.
Hosted, as you mentioned, by Chuck Woolery. It was incredibly popular. If you compare it to other game shows, it is right behind Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune as the longest lasting game show in
Holy
syndication.
shit.
But it has since been surpassed by Family Feud and Millionaire.
Yeah, I mean, Millionaire is a fucking sensation. Do you remember?
As of 1993, among the couples who met on the show, according to Chuck Woolery, there were 29 marriages, 8 engagements, and 15 children.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so Woolery apparently created his trademark phrase, 2 and 2 on Love Connection, which referred to the fact that commercial breaks used to be 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
That isn't true anymore.
No, that is definitely not true now.
Now it's like a 30-second ad for the new thin Oreos that nobody asked for, and then a fucking like minute and a half long Jack in the Box ad where they're just yelling the whole time. I wanted to ask you in there, do you remember where you were the first time somebody won the $1 million? We used to watch Who Wants to Be... I mentioned that it was like a fucking sensation. We watched that show every week, I think. It was on weekly originally. We watched that show...
When you say we, you mean your fam?
Me and my fam, yeah.
No, I didn't watch it that regularly.
That dude won. Do you know the story of the dude who won the $1 million first?
I do not know. Is that what Slumdog Millionaire is based on?
No, it's better. This dude is like crushing it, right? And nobody won the $1 million. The show had been running for a while. And everybody usually, really smart folks might get to 250, and then the $250,000 is like
This
fucking
is back
crazy.
when Regis hosted it, right?
Yeah, it's back in the Reg era. Now it's Chris Harrison, right? And he's still
It is.
up
Yeah,
in
it
the
was
set.
Meredith Vieira for a
Right.
while. Now it's Chris Harrison.
And this dude made it to the $1 million question, and he still had one lifeline left.
Ooh.
And so he had to phone a friend. And I forget the question was, but he asked it, and without missing a beat, he was like, I'd like to use my phone a friend. And Reg was like, you got it. And he calls his dad, and his dad answers, and Reg is like, you got 30 seconds, go. And he's like, hey dad, I don't actually need any help. I just wanted to call and tell you I'm going to win $1 million. And he answered the question right.
Ooh, I just got chills.
I was in Cotillion when it happened. I missed it. I had to watch it on AOL the next day. I had to AOL.
There's so much about that anecdote.
It wasn't even the grand ball of Cotillion. It was just like a fucking dance practice. I was learning how to eat lasagna without getting it all over myself. A lesson I clearly did not take to
Yeah, I
heart,
was gonna
as
say.
evidenced by the fact that you made a face. And I missed it. Damn it.
You didn't say, hey mom, hey dad, can I stay home? This is a big night for Millionaire.
I didn't know the dude was going to win. Nobody fucking knew. Reg didn't know. His dad didn't know. There were so many unaware parties. It was so wonderful. And here I am like, is this a soup knife? Fuck. So clueless.
I'm sorry, babe. Can we continue?
Yeah, let's talk about Hate Blasters. Let's get back into it. This show didn't used to be that, I can't speak. We watched like 45 seconds of one episode and then like a minute and a half from another from like 1989 and 1992. But it's in that time, nobody said, yeah, I think she's ugly. So like that's already an improvement over 2017 era.
Yeah, we intended to watch old episodes of the show. We did not quite make it through one. So the show is, as Griffin mentioned, in front of a live studio audience in what seems to be the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire set. I don't know if that's actually true, but it looked a lot like it. Hosted by Andy Cohen.
Yes. Who your mom adores.
He's from St. Louis.
St. Louisian.
Which makes him a fave automatically. And he also hosts all those Real Housewives shows, which my mom does also love.
We're going to, I guess, talk about one of the Real Housewives is on this episode. And like, I feel way out of my depth. I've never watched I've never watched a frame of one of those shows.
I have watched a few minutes. I have never been grabbed by it though.
Okay.
So the new thing about this version of Love Connection that did not exist previously is that if contestants pick the same person as the audience, regarding the date choice, they get $10,000.
Yeah. So to clarify, each episode has like 2 blocks, with like one main contestant who goes on 3 dates and then they all weigh in. And when they introduce the 3 dates, the audience like gut check votes on who they think had the best connection with the suitor. And then at the end of their block, the suitor picks a person to like go on another date with. And if that decision is the same as the audience prediction, then they get $10,000.
Mm-hmm. And in
is,
the episode we watched, Griffin and I guessed right both times.
well, and you brought this up, it was like, the main person was like, what's up? My name is Mark and, I'm a NASCAR driver. And then like the first like woman would pop up and she'd be like, hi, my name is, Susan and I'm a dentist. And the second would be like, hi, my name is, Melissa and, I'm a personal chef. And the third one is like, my name is Kiera and I'm a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I see.
I'm going to guess. Yeah.
I see what you've done here. And then in this episode, the first 2 would come out and be like, I hate Mark's fucking guts. And the third one would come out and be like, I think I'm ready to marry Mark. And then they're like, let's see who he picked. And it's like,
Yeah.
yo.
Yeah. Both times on this episode when they were like, let's see who Mark picked, it was like, yeah. No, clearly he picked that person.
There's like a big drawbridge that they lower down. This is not a joke, that they lower down to like let the person who they picked like walk across. And it's like the audience cheers and it's like, of course it's Kiera.
Yeah. No big surprises. So we start out the episode not with the Real Housewife, but with Ricardo, who is 33, lives in LA, and is a magician.
What?
Very much a magician.
And we should be clear here. I don't want people to get scared by the occult. He's like a cards magician.
At least
he is not a warlock as far as we could. Well, he didn't. There were no portals opened to nether realms. Just card up close, up front magic.
Yes.
Up front magic is nothing. He is doing his best. Casting his spells and doing a lot of stuff with. There's a lot. He's very proud of how he can fan out the cards, but
not exactly a king of hearts.
Isn't that? I thought he said explicitly. I like to think of myself as the king of hearts.
Oh, I thought I was just coming up with that fresh.
No, baby. No, babe. The hate blaster got inside of you.
He's looking for his queen of diamonds.
Playing with the queen of hearts. You know that song? Nothing ain't really smart. Who was that?
I don't know.
I'm playing with the queen of hearts. Who did that? Hey, Siri? I don't have an iPhone. I don't know why I'm talking to Siri. Juice Newton, of course.
Oh, of course, Juice Newton.
It's always Juice. Yeah, his package is just, he's a very.
He does kind of give us a tip off though, because he says like, I've been out with girls before and some of them just wanted the magic. I would do magic for like 3 hours and then they would leave without even a kiss or anything. And
yeah,
so you
that's
get a little teaser that magic is not just something he does like on the side.
No, it's his whole thing.
It's his whole thing.
And also he is a living human being living in today's world in 2017 who thinks that if he does enough magic tricks, he is owed sex, which is cool. I don't understand. I did the rings. I did the little cup thing. I made a dove disappear and then reappear and then no sex, not even hand stuff.
Do you want to meet the ladies that were matched to Rick?
Matched is a very strong term, but yeah, let's.
I just called him Rick real casually. His name's Ricardo.
Yeah, let's not say Rick.
I thought I was that familiar with him, I guess. First we meet Melissa. She's 32 from Santa Monica and she's an event meeting planner. She likes to go out. And so she thinks that she's going to be very attractive to the guys because she likes to go out and have a good time, but she also loves makeup and heels.
And she says something like, what else could you want? And it's like, not that there's anything wrong with that lifestyle, but that's a really wild thing to say. I love to go out and party, but I also love makeup and heels. What else could you want?
I know.
And it's like,
what's up, Melissa? I like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I like to drink water when I'm thirsty. What more could you want?
I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's like, my name is Melissa. I like to eat spicy food, but I also like to work and work 9 to 5 and further my career. What else could you want? And it's like, that's good, but there's a lot of other stuff I need to know about you, Melissa, before I can say I need nothing else from a human.
What up? My name's Melissa. I've never murdered anyone, and I don't torture animals. What more could you want?
What could you want? Those are great. No, great, but more. I would want a little bit more.
Second.
Also, we need to talk about the presentation of these little packages because it is, I think I said, this is like Next for adults. Mm-hmm. It is like even the fucking like logo and design treatment that they used like was hyper Next, like neo-futuristic Next.
Second up is Madison. She's 26, also lives in LA like Ricardo does. She's a professional fire dancer. She specializes in hula hoop work. She likes to party also. And has been known to get up and dance on a table, but in a classy way.
What more could you want?
What more could you want? And then finally we have Allison, 28, West Hollywood. She's a dental office manager, and she has been known to stalk her potential suitors on social media. And she, also likes to drink.
Yeah, they make a lot of light out of that. That was their terminology of like, yeah, I like to stalk on social media and like check them out real deeply beforehand. And like even Andy like made a joke about it as he was introing the package, like she turned stalking into a hobby. And I was like, cool. It sucks. That's shitty. All right.
So this is where the studio audience, after seeing these 3 videos, picks the woman they think matched with him. And then we go to the first date, which is with Melissa.
They're not there, but they are there. It's weird. In their effort,
They're on the bridge. They're on the other side of the bridge.
Yeah, in their effort to make them not there, they make them way more there than they would be if they were just sitting on a couch with them. I guess that fucking Mike Fleiss decided that would be too boring, just to have two human beings sit next to each other talking about a date. And so instead he went with sort of a Wizard of Oz style presentation.
Huge screen.
Where this giant fucking screen.
Like, what do you think? Like 3-story tall?
8-story tall, drive-in theater screen. And it's just like the date's face up there as they look down upon this ant-sized Andy Cohen and their, wronged suitor and descend their judgment upon them. It was fucking wild. It is difficult to watch.
So this is maybe the cruelest part of the date. Right away, Andy will ask them what their first impressions were, and then they will be asked to assign a number value, 1 to 10.
I think they did this during the date. That was the impression that I got. Like during the date, they meet each other and then are like at first impressions give a number then in the moment. And so like some stuff could happen there, right? Like you meet somebody like fucking bad first impression, but then you really, really hit it off with them.
Yeah.
And then later you're sitting in front of a studio audience. You're like, oh, you thought I was a 2? That sucks.
So Melissa gave Ricardo a 6, which isn't great, but is, not
better than a fucking 3.
You jumped on my reveal.
Maybe I didn't know you were looking forward to it this much.
Ricardo gave Melissa, drum roll. What could it be? Could it be like a 6 also, maybe? Maybe more than a 6. I don't know. What was it? A 3. Can you believe a 3?
That's like...
because Griffin just spoiled it.
That's a deep F. That's like if you got a 30% on a paper, like, that's a deep F. There was no saving that F. That sucks. That's really rough. And also, you know what else is really rough? This whole thing, man. This whole kit and caboodle of like, yeah, that's great. Hey, can you do me a number? Hey, can you do me a favor? Just put a number on that person based on how you think they are attractively. Just give me that. Tell me that right now. Immediately. Right now. Okay, enjoy your date. This won't come up later. Don't worry about it.
So at this point, they talk about their date. Melissa tells us Ricardo was 45 minutes late.
Well, that's like LA 15 minutes late, but
they went to get sushi. Apparently he did a lot of magic, just in that first part of the date.
She said something kind of funny, which was like, Andy said, was there magic? And she said, there was actual magic, but there wasn't romantic magic.
He like had his cards with him and was like doing a bunch of his tricks.
And he said, you said you wanted more. And she said, I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to say like, please put your magic cards away. And at that point, like that is a little bit on Melissa of you gotta say like, bro, you gotta put those fucking magic cards away so we can talk a little bit.
Yeah. So after dinner, they were next door to a bar, so they went for drinks. And at this point, Melissa said that Ricardo became more engaged with the bartender than with her.
And he said, he was a cool guy. We were there. That's what he said. He was a cool guy. We were there.
And so clearly, there will be no second date.
No, she says like, I was there and I like was very thoughtful and didn't get my phone out and you like didn't pay attention to me and you are a shithead. Bye.
Yeah. Second person is Allison.
I really want to drive this home though. She was like saying this stuff like you fucking hurt my feelings and I thought you were a big piece of shit. And like, yes, all of that was on point. It seemed like, but it was also being said out of a 40-foot tall head that was like looking down over the audience like fucking Zordon.
In Chicago, where the Bean is, there's also those big giant faces that spit water.
And the fountain.
Like
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Allison. Andy Cohen, before we go to a commercial break, says, will Allison think Ricardo is a Houdini or a Whodini?
He loved that. He had a lot of fun with that read.
It's hard to watch.
It was disappointing.
So good first impressions here. Ricardo thinks immediately that Allison is attractive, and Allison thinks the same of
Well, that's not the
Ricardo.
only thing Allison thinks.
Well, Allison also, when she finds out he's from Italy, tells us she immediately thinks, oh, I wonder if he's uncircumcised.
I'm going to look up a Wikipedia article about the prevalence of circumcision. It's just
Specifically in Italy?
less than 20%.
Okay, I wonder how she knew that.
I mean, it's a lot of countries. It's like a lot of European countries. Armenia, Austria, Belarus, Belgium, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, yeah, a lot.
She goes on to talk about how that would potentially be an issue for her, and I'm just thinking, why am I watching this show? This is awful.
A lot of, listen, babe, there were a lot of things that went wrong here. First of all, like, why is this show like this? Why are you this biased against circumcisions? How are you this curious? Why is this a thing for you? And then ultimately, I think we can start reaching the layers of like, why are you and I watching this? How did we get here as people? Where did things go wrong?
So Ricardo thinks Allison is a 9. Allison thinks Ricardo is an 8. Although she does say when they met up for the first part of their date at happy hour, he was 20 minutes late.
That's like 5 minutes LA late. That's nothing.
So a little better than Melissa, but not great. She
It
goes
took a while
on.
to zero it in. For his next date, he was 65 minutes early. And he's like, damn it.
She says that men should arrive early so that the woman can be 5 minutes late and make an entrance. And then he says that he likes to make an entrance.
And I said, why can't everyone just be on time like adults?
Yes.
Have you, I know you didn't do like a bunch of like dating.
No.
But were you, I did like a little bit. And
I take no time to get ready at all. So I am always on time or early.
I mean, regardless, like if you take a lot of time to get ready, you just get started earlier and then you get there on time. And I know that's easy for me to say, right? But
You know what
you
I
just
used
get
to
you just get there on time.
What I used to find exhausting, I don't know if you did this in college, because I know you didn't live in the dorms, but everybody would get together and like pregame before a big college party.
Yes.
And we would always start super early, and it took me like 3 minutes to get ready, and then I was standing around in my friend's dorm room for 45 minutes,
Yeah.
like trying to get hype, you know, listening to Crazy Town. And like,
Oh, babe.
like trying to figure out what I was going to do with my sweater.
Were you? Oh, babe. I bet you're so free spirited.
Not a lot of good times back then.
I mean, we were all listening to Crazy Town. I think we were all going through some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I need to close this Wikipedia article about circumcision.
So, Ricardo says that he thinks the first part of the date went great. And this is when Allison kind of calls him out and says, what do you know about me?
Yeah, he says, I didn't really feel much of a connection after that. And she said, well, you didn't feel a connection because you didn't fucking ask me anything the entire
She's
time.
like, I know he's a magician, that he's a stuntman, that he works all the time. But he doesn't know anything about me. And then we get the selfie cam, which is her on the date recording her gut reaction in a video. And she talks about how annoying he is and says that she can't understand anything he says because his accent's so thick.
She says something like his accent's really thick and that sucks. And it's like, oh man, Allison, there's a lot of stuff. Okay, just accents, circumcision. There's a lot of things. You have a lot of really shitty opinions about, it sounds like a little bit.
And so the second part of the date, they go to an LA Kings game, which is a hockey team.
And in her defense, real quick though, she did say like, tell me literally one thing about me. And he is like, I can't. And it's like, okay, so you were maybe just doing, you're trying to push a coin through a bottle magically, maybe the whole time.
She says that she got center ice tickets and they were really good. And the best part of it was that she got to know the people they were sitting near.
Yep. That's a bummer. It's a hockey game. Those are great seats. Have fun. You fall in love. It's a very romantic environment.
It
You
is.
gotta
It's kind of chilly.
It's chilly, so you got to snuggle up, and you can have
There's
like
excitement. There's
fun snacks. There's excitement. There's
We Will Rock
"We
You.
Will Rock You" is a very sexy song. You stomp, and you're like gung gung clack, gung gung clack, and you look over,
Ooh.
and it's just like your heartbeat. You know that gung gung clack, because your heart,
Fanning myself right now.
your heart beats twice, and then it claps. That's how they got the beat for that song. Anyway, very sexual place.
Finally, Ricardo's date with Madison. And they are super into each other.
Yeah.
Madison, as you'll recall, is the fire dancer. She thinks that he is very good looking. He thinks she has a great energy. They both give each other an 8.
Yeah. So Andy kept saying like, oh, a fire dancer and a magician. It was meant to be. And I don't know what kind of fucking Circus McGurkus style entertainment acts Andy has been witnessing, but I don't know that
Magicians used to have assistants that would dance around.
with fire?
Well, maybe not fire, but, you know, they're both performers.
Okay. I get that. I guess I get it.
It's not a crazy thought. So she plans the date. For some reason, I guess whoever is being involved in this process is the one that plans the date. Because she plans the date to start out at her dance studio where they get a private pole dance class. And then we get a photo.
This photo was so challenging.
So the idea is that they have this pole dance class and it goes really well. And Andy asks if there's any kind of like chemistry, if things started to heat up, and they say, yeah. And Andy says, well, let's go to the photo. And it's them sitting in a car together, touching their tongues. And he has a deck of cards fanned out.
You got to understand, they were sitting in the passenger seat and driver's seat with I'm guessing a gear shift between them, with their heads sort of tilted to the side. I'm trying to paint as clear a picture as I can. Not looking at each other, just their heads sort of tilted to the side, looking at the camera in front of them. Their tongues kind of stretched askew to meet in the middle of their two like cockeyed heads, while in the corner of the frame, we see, what's that? It's a deck of playing cards that he has fanned out, that he's holding while she is taking this selfie. It is Botticelli-esque. It is a perfectly composed image. And
you think if it was going less well, he'd only fan out half the deck?
I think so. I think this image belongs in the fucking Guggenheim, and we only got to see it for like half a second. And it was off screen, like far away, and I was really angry about it.
It's fun to watch because at first your eyes are drawn to the tongues touching, and then you kind of look down and you're like, oh wait, there's cards. There's a deck of cards.
Cards. Like, part of me gets it, right? They had to like do stuff during this date, like go shoot a selfie video in the bathroom and take a picture that we can show. And so you want to make like a goofy pose. But even with all of that information in mind, even with all that context, touching tongues in the front seats of a car while he fans out a deck of playing cards is the...
It makes me wonder if he did photos with Allison where they were at the hockey game and he fanned out cards.
I would be surprised if those women allowed any photos to be taken at that point.
So after the dance studio, they go to a nice restaurant, and it's on the beach and they have drinks. And then they go out to the beach after, and she has arranged a private fire dance show.
Can I just say, joking aside, this woman really fucking put her back into planning this day.
Well, it's her wheelhouse. I mean, how hard would it be for her to plan a pole dance or a fire dance show? Like, this is her world.
That's like 4 locations, and I don't know.
She just called up 2 of her friends and was like, hey, come do this date.
That's more work than I've ever put into a date.
Griffin.
Or I call my... No. I've never like called my friends and be like, "Hey, come do our job on the beach while we have cocktails on the beach." Like that's a lot of work for like a fucking reality show, hate blaster experience.
Well, to be fair, if you called one of your friends to do the job,
I would call Chris Plant and I'd be like, "Hey, come over and you and I are gonna play Towerfall and." We're
really going to impress Rachel.
We're really going to impress Rachel with our good skills.
That is actually kind of how our dating life started.
That's not true, and it's mean to say it like that.
Well, you did play a lot.
Towerfall didn't come out until like February 2016.
You did play a lot of video games in front of me, though.
Did I?
Remember you had to play that Zelda game?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was reviews editor. That's right. I was reviews editor when you
I would go over to your apartment and you'd play a lot of video games in front of me.
Skyward Sword, like the last Zelda game on Wii came out, and you just like, that was right. I had 6 days to review that game, and it was like a 60-hour long thing, and so just for a week, every time you came over, I was like, I'm sorry. I've got to collect all the Triforce.
It was very sweet. Griffin and I spent like every day together pretty much from the very beginning of our relationship, but that did mean that I watched him play a lot of video games.
Those like crunch sessions, those were dark fucking days though. I mean, I like me a Zelda game, but holy shit. That has nothing to do with hate blasters. Who does he pick, I wonder?
He picks the Fire Dancer.
Yes.
Which is also who the audience chose. And so they get $10,000, or rather he gets $10,000, I guess.
They're very clear about that.
And then the show accommodates them with a luxury overnight date.
Nice.
Now, in the olden days, there was no money, but they would get a second date from the show.
Yes.
Not an overnight date, though.
I'm wondering if I can go on a luxury date with you right now.
Ooh.
But only if I can steal you away.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop. Beep, beep, boop. Beep, beep, boop, 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 boop.
Oh no, my wife's an android the whole time. I hope she doesn't get Blade Runnered. So we got some sponsorinos this time. And the first one is Casper. Talking about those mattresses they're an online retailer of premium, obsessively engineered mattresses that you can get for a fraction of the price. We have one in the nursery, before this freeloader slept in there all the time. We'd sleep on that really nice bed, and it was very, very great. And it was our guest room for a while, and so guests would come in and sleep on it.
We had a lot of guests sleep on it.
It's really nice.
It's really nice. Like it very firm but soft. It's a good mix.
Yeah. They have a risk-free trial and return policy. You can try sleeping on a Casper for 100 days with free delivery to the US and Canada and painless returns. All the mattresses are made in America. And Casper mattresses feature supportive memory foam for a sleep surface that's got just the right sink and just the right bounce. I like that. Listeners can get $50 towards any mattress purchase if you go to Casper.com/Roze Buddiez and use the promo code Roze Buddiez, all one word, at checkout. Terms and conditions, you know they're going to apply.
We live in an area of Austin that is mattress country. There are a lot of stores. And you can't always tell what you're getting at those stores. So this is a good way to get
what you need.
Get a nice mattress.
Babe, our next sponsor is MeUndies. Can you tell the people about MeUndies a little bit?
Oh, MeUndies. Very, very comfortable underwear. Griffin is wearing some right now with a very fun print on them.
Looks like stained glass. But it doesn't feel like stained glass. It feels like micromodal fabric.
You know what we don't talk about enough? Very flattering underwear.
For the ginnies and the butt.
Even if you're just going to put on this pair of underwear to go on a date, they're very comfortable. You think, oh, well, that can't be attractive. But it is. It's very attractive.
It's the most attractive. It makes...
Griffin
makes my zone look like a topiary.
Nope. like a statue in a museum.
I like a topiary better. It's more accessible.
Yeah. But
so they are made of lensing micromodal. That's true. It's like a micromodal topiary.
Okay.
It's made of lensing micromodal, a sustainably sourced, naturally soft fabric that is proven to be 3 times softer than cotton. Fuck cotton. It's you can order a pair, and if you don't love them, they're free. It's National Underwear Month, so it's time to try MeUndies risk free. Because if you get them and you don't like them and they're not for you, they're free. So that is from now until August 31st. You can get 20% off your first pair plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/RozeBuddiez. That's MeUndies.com/RozeBuddiez. Get these underwear. The lounge pants are also nothing to sneeze at.
I got Griffin a pair of lounge pants as a gift, and they are his favorite sleep pants.
I wore them so much, the stink ain't never come out of these things.
Okay.
No, they don't stink. They're made of micromodal. Anyway, that's MeUndies.com/RozeBuddiez.
This message is for Ian. It is from Kari. Hello, my dear. I wish you the happy...
Hi, baby. Oh, I didn't... Oh, sorry, it's a message. When you say that, though, I see it, and I'm, like, excited. Go ahead, though. I won't do it a second time.
Hello, my dear.
Hi, baby. I forgot. Go ahead. Sorry. I did it. I get so excited about our love.
I wish you the happiest of birthdays. I love you more than anyone, and I'm so grateful we get to spend every week together listening to Roze Buddiez. I can't wait to see what the next year has in store for us. Love, Kari, Ninja, and Velcro.
Are those pets or?
Does not say.
I bet it's 2 little teacup pigs. Can you imagine?
Oh, that's fun.
It's a Ninja and Velcro. I was trying to think of an animal that like both of those names would be really
Those
good
would
for
be
it.
good ferret names.
Ninja feels a little on the nose, but a little teacup pig named Ninja, that's fucking great
That's
stuff.
cute.
But I hope I don't make you disappointed, person who sent in this message, if it's not a teacup pig. God loves all creatures great and small. Hey, I've got another Jumbotron here. This one's for Bradley, and it's from Tirza, who says, "Hey, dummy, surprise."
Why did you just call me dummy, Griffin?
Oh, you're
see?
doing the bit.
That's like what
yeah,
you did
it hurts.
to me.
I don't like it. Okay, but you taught me something just then. And now I know not to do it again in the future.
Okay. Good.
Hey, dummy, surprise. I got you a shout out from our favorite podcast couple. Thank you so much for being my best friend, loving me unconditionally, and getting me hooked on McElroy content. I love you, and I'm so excited for all our future adventures together. P.S. Hey, Megan, congrats on the Peace Corps. Make peace your B word. I don't necessarily feel comfortable reading that out loud, Tirza, but I like the idea of, I don't think the Peace Corps goes around and beats up peace, but maybe I'll be honest, I've not done too deep a Google dive on that one. So,
well, I will say I did AmeriCorps and we didn't go around and beat up America.
Okay.
So that might stand.
But see, I played the Nintendo 64 game Blast Corps, and that game did involve going around and blasting a lot of things.
And, the Bugle Corps does beat up bugles.
Hey, Max Fun fans. It's me, Jesse, the owner of Maximum Fun. I've got a question for you. Will you help us make our shows better? We wanted to find a way to find out what the Max Fun community thinks about our shows. So we started something called the Max Fun Listener Panel. Basically, you subscribe to a podcast feed, and twice a month or so, roughly speaking, we'll send you an episode of a show and instructions on how to fill out a quick survey about what you think about that show. 10 questions, nothing too crazy. You'll be hearing existing shows that we're thinking about making changes to, secret pilots of shows that we're developing that you'll only hear this way, shows we're considering adding to the network, and what you think about them really matters to us. So, to join the panel is easy. Just go to MaximumFun.org/listener panel. That's MaximumFun.org/listener panel. Thanks for helping make Max Fun better.
You ready to get back to the show?
Yeah, it's about to take a turn for, I think the worse a little bit, if you can believe that.
Well, it turns out okay, though.
It turns out great.
So this is where we meet up with Ramona Singer, who is the Real Housewife from Real Housewives of New York.
I think I don't think she is the real housewife of the Real Housewives of New York, right?
Well, no, but I'm just saying.
In this show,
the
okay.
one we referenced.
I was
earlier.
thinking of it like, I'm Ramona and I'm the Real Housewife of New York, and these are all my wild friends. I also believe they are also Real Housewives.
Yeah, no, I understand the premise of the show. So Ramona, we find out, is fun and unfiltered. Andy tells us to get ready to go on the Ramona coaster.
I'm not ready.
We find out that Ramona, I'm guessing this happened in the arc of the show.
Absolutely.
But she's married 23 years and then her husband cheated on her.
That's that sucks. She said she didn't get married until she was 37 because she didn't want to get married until she knew it was going to last, and then married this dude, and they were married for 23 years after getting married at 37, and then it fell apart. That's
That's
tough.
rough, especially if it actually happened on the television show.
Yeah, that sucks a lot too.
So the guys, they've lined up for Ramona. So first we meet Mark, who is 43, lives in Monterey Park, and is a personal trainer, and is very excited about his abs. And he says that he is undefeated in 15 months of boxing, wrestling.
It's not exactly sure. Based on the promo, it looked like boxing. After his appearance, I'm going to go ahead and say wrestling.
Yeah, he hits himself in the stomach a lot to show how hard his abs are.
It's probably fucking bad for your spleen, but go ahead, dude. You do you. Chase your bliss, stand in your truth. Chase that secret.
Second is Kenneth. Kenneth is 51, Riverside, Connecticut, and is a retired firefighter. And then he says something about how the appearance of a woman isn't all there is, but he says it kind of crudely. There's mention of TNA. He talks about how that's all fluff. I didn't write it down word for word. It was gross.
Yeah, he seemed bad.
It's a gross thing. And then finally...
And then we meet a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, we meet Rich, who is 55, a former sportscaster. He is a current entrepreneur, has been single for 15 years after a 7-year marriage.
Handsome man. Let's just put it all out on the table right now.
I said he looked a little like Ted Danson.
Oh, it's implied that it's handsome.
So now the audience votes, and then we go into the dates. And the first date was with Mark, the wrestler, boxer, fighter.
50-foot tall, shrieking skull. This man was the most unpleasant, visual, auditory. I had a flavor. He projected this flavor into my mouth that was so awful. And he was the worst person I've ever seen say anything on a television show before. And because of his enormous size, thanks to this jumbo screen, I felt very much like I was watching like Andy Cohen initiate the 2 minutes hate for like everybody to just like look up at this screen and feel animosity towards this
the
human
audience immediately turned on him, and he was very confrontational with the audience.
That's why I thought like maybe he had he was a heel in wrestling, but it wasn't. I don't think it was all just for show, because he also seemed like the biggest shithead ever.
Yeah, he said that his first impression of Ramona was that she was out of his age range.
Literally the first words out of his mouth, he pops up on the screen. He's like, "Hey, Ramona, you look a lot better today." And everybody's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, she didn't look this good when I talked to her."
I guess she showed up wearing tennis shoes to the date, and he was very affronted.
But it wasn't just that. She looked a lot older when I hung out with her. She looks good now.
Yeah, she said that she looked more like an aunt to him, like A-U-N-T.
See, okay. Now we're going to talk. Now we're going to get into it. Because you make fun of me because I say aunt. But homonyms confuse. Homonyms are not great because they can confuse
so
your
when you're
intent.
talking about the different forms of hear, do you say them differently? Do you say,
No, because I
can't
don't
hear you
No.
because the sound is too low.
But if there was a divergent way of saying it where people did say "hiar," and it could get your fucking intent across closer, like more clearly, then I think so. But in this case, you say, "I think you look like an ant." I don't know if you're talking about the bug. I don't know if you're talking about my mom or dad's sister.
So if I said, "Here's my Aunt Diane," you'd be looking around for an insect and not my
No, because it doesn't work in that
mom's
one.
sister.
It doesn't work in that one. I will be honest. This is maybe the only case in which it could be confused.
Okay, so after he negs her a bunch.
Like a lot. We're laughing, but it really fucking sucked. Like it was really, 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 really shitty.
She gives him a 7, which ends up seeming very generous because he gives her a 5. She's not a 5.
No.
She's an attractive woman. And she...
He says, if... first of all, this is when he turns on the audience. He's like, "Hey, fuck you. It was first impressions, and I don't give up on somebody. Fuck this crowd." And he says, "If you were dressed like that, like you dressed now when you came on this date, the number would have been higher." And she says... What does she say? She says, "That's superficial. You don't look at the clothes. You look at the face." And it's like...
Yeah, he said judge on the face, not on the outfit.
That's superficial. No. Hey, you're being superficial. You judge a person by their face prettiness, not their outfit. Holy shit. He says, "I hadn't been there since I was a kid, and so I thought it'd be fun. Fuck you." Like, this is literally about the heat that he was, I thought I did it when I was a little boy. I haven't been. I thought you wouldn't be either here. So fuck this audience.
I was really hoping to hear more about the zoo, to be honest. I thought it would be like, oh yeah, you know, the elephants just had a baby elephant, and so we spent some time there, and then we got some cotton candy and looked at the monkeys, but no.
I hate these fucking monkeys.
No details on the zoo.
They're stronger than me.
We do get a lot of details, though, on where they had dinner, because he said, after he saw how she was dressed, he decided not to take her to a fancy Italian restaurant, but to a chain Italian restaurant.
The audience gasps in unison, and
Well, I think if we had watched Real Housewives, we would be more shocked, potentially.
but still, the tone in which they spoke of a fucking Olive Garden or a Fazoli's was like they were summoning Voldemort or something. You went to a chain restaurant?
Ramona says that they were provided with a lot of bread, and that our buddy Mark here not only took home the bread and the salad, but also her dish.
Sounds like maybe Mark wanted to fucking go to an Olive Garden and he's just kind of being a dick about it. Also, if you thought she was going to be wearing like a nice, like fancy outfit and like heels and you took her to the zoo, you're a fucking idiot anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. It'd be difficult to walk around.
It's difficult to walk around. Zoo's a long walk. You don't want to do that in uncomfortable clothes.
Yes.
And shoes.
At the end of their date seems to get a little better. They apparently had a good conversation where they got to know each other. And that his impression of her improved, but it was not a love connection.
Did we talk about him revealing his abdominal stuff?
Yeah, I was going to leave that out because we already mentioned that he hits himself in the stomach a lot.
He flashes his stuff, and again, his abs are as tall as 6 Andy Cohens. It projected on that enormous screen.
He had you get a 6-pack. He had a
It was
6.
still a 6-pack, but
He had a 6 Andy.
he had 6 dumpsters of man just sort of rippling up there. It was awful. So then we move on to Kenneth.
Kenneth took Ramona to a winery and he gave her a wine stopper, that said, "Let the adventure begin" on it. And then when he saw her on the screen after their date, he said, "May our adventure continue." So he put some work into this theme.
Well,
She gives him a 9. He gives her an 8, says that she was very down to earth, but that he went in for the kiss and she pulled away, which he thought was because all the cameras were around. But hey, Ramona's pretty used to cameras, I would think.
yeah, I think maybe she just wasn't feeling it, my man. Yeah. Wow, we got through Kenneth real quick.
There weren't a lot of details.
Sorry, K-Dog, we just burned your shit down real fast.
There weren't a lot of details on Kenneth. Finally, Rich.
Yeah.
Rich,
Rich,
apparently, according to Andy, looks a lot like Ramona's ex. And he thought she was gorgeous.
Ted Danson? There's an outside chance it could be Teddy D.
Ted Danson has been with Mary Steenburgen forever.
Oh, that's right.
They have the best love.
Is it better than ours? It might be. They're Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen. Yeah, shit. God, I love Mary Steenburgen. Holy shit.
I know. And Ted Danson.
And Ted Danson. They're both really, really great.
Whew.
I'm getting all sweaty over here.
We can aspire to that. We'll get there.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe of our generation. We can be the Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen.
Once they pass.
What did you just say?
Once they pass?
Once they pass?
I don't even want to think about that. I love them both so
Why
much.
did you say
You are the
that?
one who brought it up. You were saying that we could be the next ones.
As in, like...
In succession, that's how it works, babe. Game of Thrones, you live or you die.
No. Like, once we were married, as long as they were married. And clearly, yes, that would have meant they would have passed. Okay, so they both rate each other a 10,
Yeah, they're into it.
which is wild.
Also, it's worth pointing out that I guess at this point he didn't know that she was the Real Housewife of New York.
Yeah. Yeah, and she didn't bring it up either. So she thinks he is movie star handsome, and she loves the fact that he has kids and that he is crazy about them because she has a daughter. And yeah, this is where he brings up that, she talked about her kids and things that she loves, but never mentioned that she made a living as a Real Housewife.
Yep.
And so we get a selfie video from Rich where he talks about how beautiful she is and how they have a lot in common. He ordered dinner for them, and they have sushi. And then Andy asks if there's a kiss, and he says, "I'm going to defer to the lady on the kiss." And Andy says, "I bet you did kiss." and she told you that we were not talking about it on national television, and they both smiled demurely.
While secretly managing their brands in front of a live studio audience.
And this is where Andy says his catchphrase, and I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget. He says, "We don't let fate decide, we let the date decide."
Yeah, I mean, that is technically what you're doing.
That's his thing. That's his 2 and 2, like Chuck Woolery.
It's not as good as 2 and 2.
No, it's not. Well, I don't know what he would say now.
It's fucking
4 and 35.
It's an Arby's commercial screaming at you and waking up your baby because it's 10 times louder than Love Connection. Welcome to Love Connection. We'll be back after the commercial. Arby's.
So the audience and Ramona both pick Rich. So Ramona gets $10,000, which she says she is donating to the Joyful Heart Foundation.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit for domestic violence, and that's great.
Yeah. And so this is where they did something I wasn't expecting, which was the overnight date check-in. So all the couples that got overnight dates, they check in to see how it went. All 3 couples had broken up.
All 2. It just felt like 3. It felt like we've been watching 3 couples
you're
worth of
right.
people, but it was really just the 2. Yeah, they show
Ramona dumps Rich
she says
after a few weeks because he doesn't live close enough.
he was geographically uncompatible.
Yes. And
Isn't it incompatible?
Huh.
Food for thought.
And the magician and the fire dancer broke up after a week because he, quote, disappeared.
Yeah, they said that, like, he did one last magic trick and disappeared. And then they showed, like, a clip of them, like, on a date and him disappearing. And I kept thinking, like, how did they get that footage?
Of his real magic trick where he made himself disappear?
No, of if they're filming this date, or they're doing, like, pickup shots of them, like, on a date, and then he disappears in this, like, pickup shot. That they had they broken up already at that point?
Oh, that's a good point.
How did they get that shot?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they showed footage of Ramona in her apartment, but I guess Rich wasn't there.
No, very
Yeah.
confusing.
I don't know how they did that.
This was Love Connection. It was, weirdly enough, I've had a lot of fun talking about it. It's an extremely bad show.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Holy
watch it
shit.
again.
I wouldn't watch this with my worst enemy's eyes. It was really, really a really tough watch. And again, like, just really nasty, like really very, very mean. The, first dude that came out for Ramona and sort of the whole conversation between, like, the first 2 women on Ricardo's side of things, like, were really, really, really tough. And yeah,
Yeah, it seems like the contestants are motivated to be as cruel as possible.
and the game is, like, designed to be as cruel as possible. The fact that there is a meet a person and then put a number rating on them, and then later we will try to use that number rating to, like, fucking start some shit between the 2 of you, regardless of whether or not you have a good date or not. I don't know, man. It sucks. But again, like, I had fun talking about it. It was a patently sort of ridiculous show, and I really just can't get over that shrieking skull man. Did we even mention that he was wearing a fedora the whole time?
We didn't. I decided not to comment.
I'm going to comment on it. He's wearing a fucking fedora the whole time. So yeah, that was Love Connection. Hey, so we're going to be doing a couple more of these. Have we talked about what we're going to be doing next week? Have
No.
we figured out what we're going to be doing next week?
We have not, but we will look on Twitter and Facebook. We'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll find something, and we'll let you know what we're watching. As we sort of transition into a new thing, we are still figuring it out. We're talking to Max Fun about how to make it be as smooth a transition as is possible, and we will let you know as soon as we have figured that stuff out. And please hang in there. I think a lot of folks, like, have been very, very patient and understanding as we sort of change
We
directions
will
a little bit.
continue to put shows out every week.
Yep.
We are not canceling
Not
this
canceling
podcast.
anything. Yeah. So yeah, until next time, I'm Griffin McElroy.
I'm Rachel McElroy. When you're ready.
Rose. Stay with us on this journey of joy.
Spoiler alert.
She ends up with Soldier Boy.
Right reasons, right reasons. Let it be good for all 4 seasons.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture. Artist owned.
Listener supported.
The three of you enter a cave of a big red dragon and is standing over a hoard of precious golden rubies. And he says, "What do you do, adventurers? I'm a dragon man."
I cast fire on him. It's very good.
I address the red dragon to say, we're the hosts of The Adventure Zone, a podcast about family playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Very good synergy. Commit to the bit.
I rolled to charm new listeners. It is very effective.
Against all odds.
Everybody, we're the McElroys. We host the Adventure Zones, a podcast where we play Dungeons & Dragons together. It's a comedy podcast. We don't take the rules too seriously because there's a lot of them and we did not take the time to learn them. Maybe listen to us. We come out every other Thursday on the Maximum Fun Network. You can find us on iTunes or on MaximumFun.org. I think this promo's a critical hit.